Vakazia. So he's going to give a different side of a story, because here we welcome everybody with different divergent views. But at the end of the day, I think we are all Zambians, and the best thing that we want is a better Zambia at the end of the day. And we can all share ideas and help each other out in terms of, political ideas and advancement of the economy of Zambia. So to unpack, I think what we have, I think the first topic of the day, Bakazi has dropped out. The first topic of the day, Badani. People have been questioning Lubinda's political stance or campaign methods. He went to Kalulushi and he was campaigning a dead man. And people are like, okay, is that what we want to hear? Or we want to hear what you're going to do for us in Kalulushi? Over to you, Badani.
Yeah, it's very obvious. I think the people have seen it. The motive of PF and Lungu's death, people have now seen it, and everyone knows now. It's no secret now that every Zambian that follows what's happening in our country has realized that the PF are trying to use the name of Lungu to sort of get some political mileage out of it. But apparently it's not working, I think. And people have told them over and over again, but they are not listening. They continue using the name of Lungu everywhere they go to campaign. In my view, it's if they don't want to listen and they want to continue doing this, I think their party is going to be disadvantaged, very big on a big scale, especially if Lungu will come and get buried in Zambia. They will just be, it will disadvantage them big time. So they should pray that Lungu, the court decision in South Africa goes in their favor at least. But if Lungu's body is going to be brought to Zambia, that will be the end of them using the name of Lungu, because it will show that they will be blamed for the delay. They'll be blamed for everything. So they will have no point of even trying to talk about the incidents, because everyone just put blame on their head. If the body of Lungu comes to Zambia, PF will be blamed. Dakachinda will be blamed. Zulu will be, all those guys will just be. They have to run out of the face of Zambians, because they'll be blamed. They will not blame the government. People will not blame the government. They will blame the PF for delaying the burial of Lungu. Let them pray that the body is buried there in South Africa. Otherwise, if it comes to Zambia, it will be the end of PF manifesto or whatever. They will have nothing to say but to start apologizing to the people.
Already, it's clear that these are the last kicks of the dying horse. They're already finished. Just look at how they're portraying themselves right now. It's total confusion. Vakazia, I don't know. Give us the insight of the Patriotic Front, because the campaign methods being portrayed by Lubinda and the gang are very questionable. Is it moral?
I think right? I think, Rajanda, for me, I like you said, I share a different view, and I see the desperation of government also. There's just been so desperate. The desperation about government to get hold of the body for ECL is just off the roof. And all this is to make sure that one person, and the person is President HH, he has to be the one. If he was out of the way of these things would have ended a long time ago. But you see, it is politicization. It has been politicized. I don't know why we have to struggle. The issue is that you should not be there. The family doesn't want you there. The person who died doesn't want you there, and you didn't treat him the way he should have been treated. You want to restore things in death. Even when you start to think about what the Attorney General was saying, does it make sense? No, there was that. The moment you died, now we bring all the privileges of you being president now in death. Really, it shows how we are playing. We are playing with people's lives. We are playing with people's emotions. Look at what people have been saying. The people that support UPND, for instance, that one supporter who goes online and calls a former president that is a frozen fish in some fridge somewhere. That guy is no one, and is praising the president on one end. The other end is calling a former president that is frozen fish is in the fridge. What? Look at what the Minister of Home Affairs is saying. At least you should have. The ECL is dead. He has no part to defend himself. You go on a rampage in Parliament, attack the dead person, and then on the other side you say, no, we are trying to give him a defeating value. I think this is just circus. For me, I stand with the family. Whatever they will do, they will do. If ECL comes back to Zambia to be buried, which I would love to, every well-meaning Zambian want ECL to be buried in Zambia. But the way government is handling it is not the right way. They are not defending what they are saying. If they defended the integrity, the respect, they will manage the cadres from what they are coming out of their mouth, and they would have managed the ministers out of what is coming on their mouths. I don't think they are being professional, but Jack Mwimbu going on a rant like that over the ECL in Parliament, just a basic question he should have answered nicely. He just went all over the show. I do not think that's the kind of leadership. I think UPND must look and never adopt Jack Mwimbu as the next member of Parliament. We need young people with sober minds. They want people that are not bitter about what has happened in the past. We know that everyone knows, including PF, and everyone knows that President HH was not treated well when he was trying to campaign. The way he's treating also his friends right now, the ones that are opposition leaders, not former presidents. He was treated in a very bad way, and everyone knows that. And we expect that is something we must put behind us by showing a different way of leadership. But he's dragged into it. You find these young people that you brought in to manage the media, manage the information flow. They're messing it all up. But Dan is right when he says, yes, if the body comes into Zambia, it will be a plus for government. That is just true, Dan. I agree with that. But if it doesn't, also, it is a very bad, it is bad on part of government if it doesn't come out there, because then it will be that one person who couldn't bury the friend and stuff like that. So I think it is politics. I am waiting to see what comes out of it. But whatever it is very embarrassing. We shouldn't have taken that route. I submit.
Okay, we were joined by Himwami. Oh, he's dropped out.
No, he's around.
Oh yeah. Oh, maybe in the Wakazi batch that drop out. So yes, Himwami, you've just caught us at the point that we were just discussing the the Lungu family. What's been going on. Everybody knows, and of course, we also discussed about that later, and what's your 2 cents in all of this? I mean, I'm sure you have a lot to talk about. Lubinda, going, politicizing, using a dead man's name into politics. Doesn't that touch on our cultural beliefs? Doesn't that touch on our Christianity as Zambia? Because if we look at all these two things, we believe we're Christians, and we also have our cultural values. When somebody dies, there's that certain respect that comes in. You cannot use that to your advantage. I mean, I don't know. Me, I look at it at a very, very different angle. I don't know what you think, on this one.
I attended the burial, like a funeral service, it was organized by it was handled by the Jehovah's Witness, because it was their own who died. All right. Something came out very clear, which I remember to this day. There was just a message like this man who was conducting the funeral service just said, I have very little words to say. This Now, here is a man like Lungu, Lubinda, going around using a dead man's name. What drives Lubinda? What drives him? Let's remove Edgar out of the equation. Eh? What are we left with if we remove the equation? What is PF left with? Nothing.
It is left with members.
Nothing is in zero. That zero thing, that circle. Yes, that circle. There can be nothing inside. Even those members, there's nothing why are they not condemning the Lubinda man? Say, can you stop using a dead man's name? They're happy with it. It could as well mean they have nothing in their heads. What agenda do they have for the Zambians? When you are wrong, even in the house as a parent, as a father, your family should advise you. Say, Apomwaya, it's wrong. Can you take that path? They're all quiet. Typical of PF, they can't correct each other. There are some in PF that know to say this is wrong, but they are quiet. Why are they quiet? They can't be using a dead man's name for campaign. 2026, you are there on the podium. Oh, there was Lungu. Please, God forbid. Lungu is not the issue. Lungu is not the issue. The death of Lungu has come just like it will come to any one of us. It should not be used to gain some political mileage. Is Lungu a martyr? Is Lungu a martyr? Is he a savior? Is he a Jesus Christ that was talked about that he was coming? Has he resurrected? Okay, I submit.
I feel how you feel, Amacha, because I share the same sentiments. I believe, just look at how poorly they performed. They thought they would get sympathy votes by using Balungu's name. May he so rest in peace. It doesn't work like that. The Zambian people already have, Ichirirote, Pushika 3 days. 3 days, 4 days.
Can I cut you short? Can I cut you short on that one? The sympathy vote could have come out. The sympathy vote could have come out if this protracted burial was not there. If there was just like, the family is okay.
No, I get your point. Yes, I get your point. Oh, your internet is a little bit connected. Connection, your internet is bad. So I get his point. If right there in the beginning, if the Lungu family had worked with the current government and just had shown that thing to say, no problem.
Yes.
In the body,
the network today.
We're going to bury
the
him.
Network.
Network. Yeah. So that would be a good gesture. No, I can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you now. Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear?
I was saying, yes, I can. I hear. I was saying that if they had proceeded with the funeral and burial by June 10, 15, so Gatwadishika, there would have been a situation where Zambia would have cooled down by now. They would have said, okay, you see, we were mourning. We didn't have time to come and campaign because of the funeral of our late president. May his soul rest in peace. But we are here now. We are looking at things from another angle. He's resting. And then we want to chart a way forward with you people. We cannot do it alone. Huh? We need you need your support. End there. Not no ine chirilishi chabalungu chirilo no, please, that time is gone. The dead know nothing. You see, traditionally it's even wrong. Huh? They are, if Lungu is to meet his savior, they are delaying his chances of meeting his savior.
That's true.
Yes, they are delaying because his soul is just wandering. He's not buried. They are in Catholic would have said he's delaying to go to purgatory, that place between hell and heaven. That's what they believe there. They are delaying his chances, his chance to be in purgatory.
I think that's where he is. I mean, if you haven't gone yet, if you were thinking if you want purgatory,
now why delay? Why delay that time? See, and look. Even for the Edgar Lungu's family, they should know one thing to say: they are still on the wrong side of the law. They should count some things to be done, dusted. They evaluate, oh, this one is done. When they are not ticking. There are a lot of problems that they have, but there is none which they are concluding as, okay, this one is solved. But they are piling problem on problem on problem on problem. They will end up being stressed. And the people who stress them are just interested in having bread and butter on their table. The Nakachindas, the given Lubindas. What good can come out of those, surely? In fact, it's even time that we even question the parentage for some of these people who call themselves leaders. And even when they talk about him being a chairman, alliance for Tonse, whatever, he can't be president. His parentage is questionable. And it's PF.
Which one? Lubinda?
Yes.
What's Lubinda's background? I've got no idea.
From what we can see, from the face value, he's a colored.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of Zambian coloreds. I mean, vengi sama colored vengi.
No, but the parentage. Parentage, there must be someone who is strange in one of the parents who is not Zambian. It's just on the presidential clause. The person has to be Zambian. Parentage, finish. Aturiaena, kuliko kariaka akachisungu karia. The one that forbade Guy Scott to be president.
Okay.
We need to see how patriotic some of these people are, because someone is burning fuel to go to Northern Province, to go to Copper Belt and talk about the body of Edgar Lungu. In his mind, what developmental issues are there? Nothing. What ideas? Politics is about competing in ideas, competing in how you are going to rule the Zambians. What you must be an alternative government. In case you must, okay, take for example, Lubinda is a shadow vice president. What can he tell Parliament? Leader of government business. What can he say?
Yeah, that's very true. So okay, so let's welcome Vachitumba. He's broadcasting, of course, from Zambia. Vachitumba, welcome to the show. Give us what's going on the ground there, the politics and everything. And you've come at a time when we're just discussing Valuvinda.
Thank you. How are you, everyone? How are you, everyone? Yes, I can see Wakazi, I can see Wadani, Wachanda. Yes, I think
What about me? You can't see me.
Yeah.
Mention my
We
name,
had
guys.
no power, I think, since morning. I think Zesco, they are doing some maintenance. So my phone is down. Anytime it can go off, yes.
Okay, no problem. Okay then. So yeah, so that's the thing. I mean,
Ratanda, I want to say a few things here.
Go
You
ahead.
see, we ask questions like, for instance, Mamasha Walibsa, what can Lubinda say? And then you pass the judgment on what you think he would not say.
Wait.
You ask the question, what can this person say? But then you go ahead and answer the same question that you asked yourself. You see, what the problem has been is that you are blaming everybody else, but you're not blaming the person who should not be there, who has been told family taile kufaya kuchiriro. One person. And that person is President HH. It is clear the family, they don't want him there. Now, all institutions and everything else, you have flip-sided everything and thrown it at the family and they say, no, and you throw it at Lubinda and everyone else. Oh, now we got the campaign too. No. He only excuse to cover up. The president can do the right thing. And we all have learned lessons. We must never allow our country to go through that process. They were not friends.
Maybe Wakazia, maybe my question, why
Yes.
we say, we don't want this person to attend the funeral, and then what happened? I think maybe I'm trying to understand
Let
the
me
reason
answer
why
that.
they don't want the president to
They don't
attend.
want
Looking at that, the president is a current president, and the one who died was a former head of state.
The former head of state, he did not die as a former head of state. He died as a private person. That is by the rules of what has been announced. When he went back politics, he became an ordinary person. So if you want to talk about he became an ordinary person, and the family accepted that. And when they wanted to bury him as an ordinary person. Now, if you want to understand and give him the legitimacy of what you want to bury him, have a conversation with the family. That is the only thing. If the family insists, can I
For
finish,
me,
please?
another question. If we go back in history,
if you can allow me to finish,
Dr. Kaunda, after he lost power, I think he came back into politics.
Yeah,
then he stopped, then he died, but he was buried as a former head of state.
If I can tell you, there was no. Can I finish my turn? Please.
Okay, finish. Let Makazia finish, and then we know when to come in.
Issues there was no bad beef between President Kaunda and any other president. There has been bad beef between President ECL and President HH, where they could not even see eye to eye. Because umunankwalanda chinga wabwelela ndufo kuwelelapo twala chinje minga tulikate pamukosi. You understand? The other things that the family, there was bad beef. They could not also understand each other. And you see, this is very exemplified by what is coming out now from one. In fact, President HH wouldn't even put it on him unless he's pushing it from the background. But look at the conversation we are having. If I was a son to Edgar Lungu right now, you think I would tolerate that and say, oh, but Jack Mumbo from between the floor of the house, you are right. Ujawa Leland that frozen fish. The government would have been on him, say, we don't like this stupidity. If you support us as UPND, we will not allow you to demean the body of the former president in that manner. What is happening? Quiet is it? And we switch and start justifying it. Let's stop this kind of hypocrisy. You see, if you want to know, let's get, what are the things that are making this thing not to be addressed? Mwafilanda, 1, 2, 3, 4 things, you take them out of the way. If people are talking about it, you deal with it. So,
Okay. But Danny, are you there?
Well, maybe Mr. Chanda, maybe let me come in a bit. My phone may be go off anytime soon.
Okay, go ahead. We'll allow you since you're in Zambia, yeah?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, maybe first of all, I want to maybe to counteract to what Wakazi has said of saying they don't want the president. That is the all issues that is where the all problem is coming from. That's why we've reached where we've reached now. We are not yet buried the former head of state because the family they don't want the head of state because of how he was treated. So now, me, I think I never wanted to comment, especially on this, because we'll start now uh, bringing what really happened on both parties. These all issues started when the former head of state he was in state house when he was a president. So now when you look at how he treated the HH, how he was treated, how Kambwiri was treated, even the wife of Chimba Kambwiri, how the wife of Chimba Kambwiri was treated. So if you start bringing all those issues and the ECO is gone, it's not here to start defending. That's why all these issues as Ubuntu, as a Zambian, as a culture, we're not supposed to talk about when someone is gone. That's why even in Barrio or everywhere, they are going to talk about something good. What someone when someone is gone, they will talk about something good, what he has done, and everything. They will not mention what really the wrong thing that he did. No. When someone is gone, it touches everyone. There's no enmity. That person is gone. And then we are saying as a Christian, let's go back to the time when Jesus Christ was crucified. What happened? What Jesus did, he said, forgive them. They don't know what they are doing. Even when he was crucified there are other people who are still doing bad things there. But what happened? But why are we bringing these issues during this time? That's why we're saying it's politics and it will not help us. So this is the time that we're supposed to come together and bury the head of states. If we say that this one shouldn't attend this burial, are we saying that ECO was a pure man? Even when he's going to face God, he's going with clean hands. Is that what you are saying? How can he live that
But
wish to say, I'm
Okay.
going, I don't want
you are
these
now
people, I hate
judging.
these people,
Okay,
I
Vakazia,
don't
okay.
want these people to
Vakumba,
attend. Am I
fantastic.
100% pure? No. So that's why we say we forgive and we move on.
Who
So
is
now
saying
all
that
those
we
issues are
forgive?
supposed to be talked after
Okay,
we
okay.
value now. We say, okay, let's change how we're going to treat each other. Because if you start bringing all those issues, and also other people, they'll say, no, also he treated this person like this, he treated this person like this, he treated this person like this. But during funeral, even your enemy, we can't chase if someone comes to the
But,
to the funeral house and you just I
I
don't
have
want
some
this.
questions. I have
No.
3 questions I want to ask you,
Okay,
Tumba.
okay.
3 questions. 3.
Okay, no. Okay, what we're going to do is this, because we don't want to stick on one topic. We've got so many topics to discuss. This one won't end. We can come and revisit it later.
Okay.
So for
I had the
now,
questions anyway.
yeah, no, we can come and revisit it later. Let's move on. We got other topics to discuss. But Danny, are you there, or you're watching the game?
I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, I don't know if you want to close this one up so that we go to the next topic. You know, we don't want to spend too much time on this one because I think a lot has been discussed. We've heard from different parties on, the whys and the no's and yes and the no's and all that stuff.
Can I just mention one thing here? before we move on to the next topic, can I go ahead?
Go ahead, real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, very quick. Yeah, I think what my brother just said there was it's the most important thing is the government and the Lungu family who should both agree to start from on a clean slate. The government wants to start on a clean slate. The Lungu family are saying no. This guy was wrong. This guy was what we don't want. We will continue on this path. We don't want to compromise. You mistreated him. You got the what. Why should you now change? You want to change now because you want to start afresh. So the Lungu family are not looking at it that way. The people supporting the Lungu family are not looking at it that way. But that the government start on a slate to move forward with the country.
Tell me what to
If
celebrate,
this can I finish, please?
Go ahead.
If
Just
this
mute yourself, Achtumba.
if this compromise between government and the Lungu family does not happen, and we bury Lungu at this just like that, it will not be good for us as a nation. The Lungu family, honestly, will not have a good time in Zambia as long as the UPND is in government, if they don't reach an agreement. That's the truth. They'll stay in South Africa for the rest of whatever until UPND comes out of government, because it will not be good. And this is not what we want. We want every Zambian, we want the Lungu family to come back home and enjoy their country, live as ordinary citizens. But if the Lungu family are going to say, we'll stick to this guy, we'll bury the guy like this, and it will not be good. That's the truth. And they will be crying that they've been victimized, but let's reach an agreement and start a fresh country.
All right.
Now, Rajanda.
Full stop. Let's put a full stop on that one.
Rajanda, you see, you stopped me. Look at this. You stopped me from asking the questions, but then you allowed the debate to continue. I wanted to ask the questions because what Vadani has said, but just listen to this one more thing. That's my last contribution on this part. Just with what Vadani has said is correct. It will not end well, it will be problematic. But there are fundamental questions that we are skipping around, which we do not want to touch. Number one, do you think that the conversation that is happening in Parliament by the Minister of Home Affairs and the Vice President herself is correct? What do we do with that statement? Number two, do you think that card of UPND has been supporting UPND, calling ECA the frozen fish, is correct? And if it's not correct, what measures has the party and the government done on such a person? Nothing. Okay. So these things derail the conversation that should be progressive. The conversation should be progressive to make sure that the remains of ECL comes back in Zambia is being punched by the people who are supposed to be uniting us, because they're in leadership. Even if we say what they don't like, they're supposed to handle these things in a different way, not to also add fuel to the fire.
Okay.
So Danny's view is correct that we need, but how are they going to compromise in the midst of these very high positioned leaders going after the dead person like that? The person they're supposed to be protecting in death.
Okay. Okay. Now this topic can never end if we continue on it. Let's put a lid on it, and we can revisit on it later, because it's very dynamic in its nature. But secondly, now I think we need to discuss. I don't know if everybody had a chance to watch Professor Clive Chilwa's interview with Shosta. Very insightful and very informative, and I can say, like, look, if Zambia we do have many Zambians of that caliber, but we need more to come up or come out and raise their hand to say, I want to work with the current government or the government of the day, and saying we are not political. We just want to work with the government. It was a very insightful program. I learned a lot, things that I didn't know. And the burning question is, he revealed something very, very important. He was called by Michael Sata during the Patriotic Front government to come and help rebuild Zambia Railways. So upon arrival, they booked him into a hotel and he started designing. Okay, started designing how Lusaka was going to look like, and the CBD Lusaka, and how Kitwe is going to look like, and how it's going to connect, and how the railway will move from Livingstone up into the Copper Belt with electric trains. So this was a modern way of looking at things, just like the way the world is moving now. Like most of us who live in the diaspora, that's what it is. Like everybody will just jump on a train, boom, short time now of Korea, boom, that's it. So what happened is the government, when they got Euro bonds, the PF government, basendera Euro bonds, bafunyapo $120 million mu project. He was revealing to say, after that was given, he started working, designing, doing all those things. And then all of a sudden, abantu batampoku kuseshe ndalama. Batampo kuseshe ndalama. Shayo kindalama, shayo. So before you knew it, when he started questioning, that's how he was sacked. And that's how he left the country. Gentlemen, who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Go ahead.
Yeah. You see, what Clive Chilwa was saying, some of the things that he reviewed are things we've discussed in this forum. Some of the things that he was saying, there are things we've discussed on this forum. Personally, I've discussed some of those solutions with Dr. Kazila on his platform and even on this platform. The problem which we usually have in Zambia, the lack of continuity, I have always said it. Clive Chilwa designs that PF, when the honorable, in fact, it should go beyond that before even PF came into office.
No. He came when Michael Sata was the president. That's when he came. He was invited by personally Michael Sata.
If you want to, can I discuss the way I want to discuss?
Okay, go ahead. Let me shut up. Go ahead.
Maybe other people can come in. Then I'll wait to listen.
Well, you said you got the point. Then give us your point.
No.
Let me come in.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's go. Who was saying he wants to go ahead and contribute on this one? Because this is a very important topic, actually.
Yes, I want to go. I want to come in.
Okay, go ahead, Bachtum.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, actually, I watched the entire video for Clive Chilwa. I think also I posted the same video in the main group. And what he said was called, that was between 2012 to 2013, to come and design the railway. Yeah, Lusaka, Kitwe, and also Livingstone. And that project was supposed to finish in 3 years, according to what he said. So when I was counting, when I counted 20, let's just put it 2013 plus 3 years, that is 2016. That's when I was supposed to see to finish everything and start working. But along the way, things didn't go according to plan. So me, this is the question that I have. If we say we lack continuity, and this project, it was started with the PF during that time. So when Professor Clive Chilwa came 2012, 2013, and we lost the president, Michael Sata, that is 2014. And then the Red ECO took over. What happened to that project? I think this is the question I want to answer. What happened from 2014 up to 2021? From 2016 to 2021, there's 5 years. And this project is supposed to took 3 years. What happened? And
Yeah,
then
Bakazia will
where is
answer
the
that.
money? Yes. Where is our money went? If it was channeled to somewhere, what did that money achieve to improve our Zambian economy? And also what he said, also it touched a little bit on the constitution. Our constitution, I think we really depend on issues of political, not on developmental issues. So now, I don't know, Vachanda, how best it can be. Maybe I don't know how the current government can tap the knowledge of Clive Chilwa, or how can we bring him back so that we can start. If you remember last time I said, when you look at fuel nitrogen and this industry, how did we find ourselves in this situation? Looking at
Mhm.
where we're coming from, the UNIP's time, MMD, privatization came in, we lost everything. How did we find ourselves there? Then now, how are we going to get out of these issues, this problem that you are in?
Mhm. Okay, that's fine.
That is the question. And
That's
okay, yeah, thank you.
that's why I asked. Okay. Okay. Now, what we do is this. Those are valid questions, and I think since Kazia has said he's going to answer at the end, we'll give him that privilege to answer at the end. And then I think Vajani, um, yeah, if you can give us your insight on this issue. Um, I don't know if you had a chance to watch that interview, and if you got some information beyond what we watched on the issue of the Zambia Railways and the 120 million that went missing. Yes.
Yeah, for me, Clyde Chilwa, Clive Chilwa talked about his side of the story. All right.
Mhm.
He talked about his side of the story. What Clyde Chilwa didn't talk about was the government part of the story. The
Mhm.
government was not 100% wrong.
Mhm.
What I know, because I know that I was in Canada that time, and someone wanted to order. Actually, those trains they wanted to order them from Canada. Okay, they were supposed to
Mhm.
order it from Montreal. So somebody contacted me and said, "Dani kulia kasaka kandarama kuno. Kulia kasaka kandarama kuno." So just arrange this and this. What Clyde Chilwa didn't talk about there, by the way, how much
Mhm.
money did the government pay him? They paid him a lot of money. Okay, it was very unfair. He claimed he wanted to come and help Zambia, but basically he came
Mhm.
to get a lot of out. He didn't come to sacrifice. He came to get so much money. I think they gave him a number of millions of dollars for that contract, and he never even. So what he wanted to do was to, of course, change the Zambia Railways thing, but at the same time, he wanted to take the role of being the purchasing officer, being the whatever. He wanted to get everything out of the hands of the government. The government owns that project. But Chilwa started wanting his personal links. Okay, this one is going to do this, this one's going to do that. No, you don't do that as a CEO. You have no rights to do that. You just come there and manage the logistics and everything, but it doesn't mean that you're going to determine who's going to be the supplier, who's going to be this. That's why Michael Sata told him, we have come here, you are the manager, but it doesn't mean that you own the project. We have the powers to decide who's going to do what. Just tell us what to do. That's it. But Chilwa was not, and that's why they differed with the government. He wanted to take over everything, totally everything, and that's why they differed with the government. So he wasn't very sincere in that interview, in the sense that the government stopped him and paid him off and told him to go, and they paid him full amount. Imagine, the government of Zambia paid him full amount after just spending a few months on that project. He claimed the whole amount. Okay, so he was very selfish. He wasn't sacrificing, and he really wanted to take over the whole project. He wanted to be a signatory to the signing, but the government said, no, you cannot be a signatory. You can't. Someone else is going to be doing the purchasing. You just have to tell them and all that. But he wanted to take over something. But anyway, the other thing I want to say about him is, if he was really patriotic, he should have mentioned those things there and then. I don't like people that come 5, 10 years later and said, "Oh, what happened that time? It was like this and this and this." To me, that's cowardice. If you really care about your country, you see something wrong, speak up. So for him to come 5, 20 years later and say, "Oh, you know what used to happen that time? That's this what happened. This what happened." No, to me, I know that he was not very sincere. He demanded a lot of money, and they paid him a lot of money, and people were very surprised that a Zambian can come to his own country and demand this amount of money. They paid him millions of dollars. Okay, and then he wanted to take over the whole project. That's when Sata came in and say, "Chilwa, we employed you to run as an administrator, not to take over the whole project. This is our project." And for him to say in that interview, he said, "I didn't have access to money. I wasn't the signatory." And later I said, "Oh, the money was taken out. I could see money getting out." If you had no access to the money, how did you know that the money was taken out? So he wasn't very sincere. If you have nothing to do with the money, how can you know that, oh, they were taking money, transferring Matani's account, they were doing this, but in the meantime you say, "No, I have no access. I didn't have access to the money." But at the same time you're saying, "No, I could see money moving." That was It's not true. It's not true. He wasn't sincere, and he got a lot of money. He should be thankful that the government gave him the full package of the contract, even after just worked for a few months.
Interesting. Interesting submission. Rahim Wami, what's your take on this one?
My take is on
Hats
the
off,
way.
Madani. Hats off.
It my word is on the bond. What is a bond? It's simply Nkongole, right? At one day it will mature. Who's going to pay for it? Our children's children are going to pay for the sins that we as adults committed. And we are seeing these adults, they are there. They are even going around politicking. Varishani nendala mashama Eurobondi. You see, we are trapped. We can say there's development, but come the day when we shall have to start paying for those Eurobonds, paying seriously so, it will have an impact on the economy. The economy will fail to grow because money will be channeled elsewhere. And the people that misuse that money, they are there. And we are just busy now talking. Hey, this one signed. No, I didn't get that. Hey, no. Please, those must be brought to book. Whoever abused Eurobond money, they must be brought to book. Because that's public. Every time. That's the reason we're having to work on the roads every time, because the roads are overstretched. They are carrying heavy cargo. Short time, the roads are done. And the money for the rail line for the Eurobond was meant to rehabilitate the rail line. It could have ferried passengers. It could have been ferrying goods. If more passengers are ferried on the train, fares can even become cheaper. But no passenger is on the train, so everyone goes on the bus. The bus fares are high. Look at that. We were denied an opportunity to lower the cost of living. The cost of living. Transport in Zambia is a basic determinant of the pricing of goods. Imagine if almost of the goods were to be transported by rail line. They would even be cheaper. But because they are transported by road, which is very expensive, the prices are up. Look at copper. Yes, we're exporting copper, but what are we using to export copper? Trucks. What are they doing to the roads? They're damaging them. Eurobond money was sourced, but not used for the intended target. Some people must be held accountable.
Well, so I think with me, personally, how I feel about the whole situation, I hear about Danny's proposal and everybody else. Before Bakazia comes in, what I'm going to put out is this. He reviewed something that we didn't know. Okay, because because you're saying we need to listen to both sides of the story. That's what you said, but Danny. But we've only been listening to the government side of the story all these years. He's been quiet. He's never said anything because one, what we knew, everybody was disappointed, including myself, because I've known about him for a very long time. That he demanded a lot of money. He wanted this. He wanted a lot of payoffs. A, B, C, D. But when I watched that video or that interview, it actually made sense to me. Because on his side, he said, one, I wasn't a signatory to any of the money. But even if you're not a signatory, you can know if money is coming out because it's your project. If you go and say to the people who signed for that and say, I think for this project, for me to move forward, I need to acquire one or two things, and then they tell that, there's no money, right? So you can know that there's no money here. Then you ask, what happened? He said, no, it has been diverted. The money has been diverted somewhere else. Okay, so according to his story, he was saying the money was being diverted in different sectors. And when he started questioning to say, how am I going to work if money is being diverted? And being an engineer and an innovator at the same time, you need to work on what we call prototypes. And those prototypes cost money. So you need certain funds, first of all. You create those, because what you wanted to do is create tramp like the ones we have in Toronto. Where they're in the city, they're moving, boom, they're able to move those electric. And you also wanted to create an electric train. So Zambia was going to be one of the first countries in Sub-Sahara to have those projects. And the same blueprint that you even told them, look, the same blueprint is in all the other places, including Tanzania. Tanzania, they've got electric trains. I know everybody heard about electric trains. Oh, boom. Tanzania, they've got electric trains on their side of Tazara. While Zambia, we still have the choo paka mfike kuchingola, we still have that. Our friends advancing, and he was the main guy who went to consult. They called him to go and consult and how they can do it. And he told them, he gave them that information. Now, being paid and all that, in terms of remuneration, he clearly said, since Vakazia here is a PS, how much is a PS paid? He told on live TV that he was paid below a PS. He was at a salary structured by the government itself, and it was below of a PS. That's what they were paying him. That was his remuneration. That was his pay. So I think let's put facts together and let's actually watch the whole video in total. Because all these years we've just been listening to of course the government would want to shield themselves. They wouldn't want to say, oh no, we were wrong, right? But the big question is that $120 million that disappeared, we cannot blame it either way, even if he was paid more money or whatever. Where did that 120 million go? Because it didn't go in the hands of Clive Chilwa, engineer Clive Chilwa. No, it didn't go in his hands or in his pockets because he wasn't a signatory. So who took that money and where is that money? I think let's not lose ourselves. That's where we need to hammer. And I would like to now engage Dr. Kazia, sorry, to help us on this issue. Vakazia, are you there?
Yeah, me, Vachanda. If you listen to what Vadani said, that is the whole truth in that matter. Where you become CEO, but fire footy. You if you're that you can't have the cake and have it, that you can't bake and have it, isn't it?
At the same time.
Where fire, you want books to control things that are relating to procurement, and you decide who should be this. It was a very huge. In fact, he was almost being taken to jail for that. Serious conflict of interest that he was doing it. That has nothing to do with his level of brilliance and the ideas that he had. That has nothing to do with that. It is procedural improprieties that he was doing. And it not also being honest with the information. Now, that is a lie where he says, I was being paid less than a PS.
How much as a PS? Okay, just give us a broad number. But a PS, how much is a PS paid?
I am not obliged to discuss that, Vachandana. Do you think I can give you how much a PS gets? I wouldn't do that. The government has a structure.
We can find out. It's not hard to find out.
No, you can actually find out, yes, but it will not come from me. The first thing is that that he was getting less than a PS. You can just tell him to say,
why would he lie?
Your people, is he the first one to lie? Do you think that ababepa bengi sana abantu bale mafi and provoke time amba nokubepa obufi? He's not the first one to tell lies. And in Zambia it has become common umuntu shai mambo obufi. You know, and then we say no, he can't lie. He is a human being, he can lie. And one of the things that is saying, Wadani asked the question that why is he not disclosing how much was paid for that project? Why did he discuss the issues that led him be taken to court? Do you know how much Clive Chilwa was staying at Falls Way there? It is $200 a night. And then today he comes and says, oh, no, now for less than a PS. And how long did he stay there? Falls Way there. Because
answer your question. Let me just one second.
I am talking about Moneni. Even me as PS, I could have been taken there. But these are when you say you are paid this and you are staying at Falls Way, translate because that is you enjoying it. You are the one.
No, mu interview muramwine show stars amwipusha. Njere imwe mwalekara mu Falls Chani hotel and this is how much it costed the government. And that's where Fintu Fialu bene because you know what he said? But here's what he said. This is the answer he said. Insha pere ko ama conditions nenga naisa ku Zambia okonkalaikala. Government government abende eba twere kulia.
You are bent on defending what.
No, I'm just saying what he's saying.
No, but you see, you are not listening to us.
Okay, go ahead.
That is going to be a problem because when we tell you the difference, then you jump to defend.
No, I'm not defending. I'm just saying what he said.
But we are condemning what he said. We are challenging what he said, and it is not for you to start rebattling on his behalf. You can now say you are going to take these questions so that we can have answers from him. But you, when you start to attempt to answer his questions on his behalf, it becomes a problem because we challenge him. But if you don't that less than a PS, tell us how much you were getting. Because in Garilanda, okay, with the PS for 20,000, and for 10,000. He can say that. What was stopping him from saying that? You don't do things like that when you want to start having. And by the way, if he wanted to be a contractor, he would have used that consultancy thing, who was a consultant, away from the management and systems that were being designed. For the services you're going to provide. But when you come in like, okay, now some revolutionize, there are certain rules you must play by. And then you come back and then you jump and say, oh, he wants business from government. And you definitely, it is catching people like yourself, and from a blind side, what, oh, this guy is the one. He is very good as an academician, as an engineer, nobody that we can't take away from him. But the things that he needs to learn is how to manage he himself, and also to manage how public affairs are handled. If Clive Chilwa learns how public affairs are handled, it's much better. In Tanzania, he said he's a consultant, isn't it? He just goes there to provide advice and comes back. The government is running the way it wants. And those are some of the things you can't say, oh, from UK, you can't do that because you're using public resources. So Clive Chilwa, yes, he's a good guy. He had good initiatives, but he didn't conduct himself very, very well to make sure that his dealings and other things were going to be in transparent systems. So what Badan was saying is 100% correct. Badan, I endorse what you said because that is the truth and that's a fact.
Fantastic. I think we have, given it justice. Unless there's anybody who hasn't spoken on this matter, we have to go to the next topic. Okay, so the silence means everybody has, talking on it. But it's something that we can revisit.
Wachanda.
Yes, Mkwai.
Yes. So the second question is where the money that meant for that layer went.
Yes,
Because that was a loan which we are paying now. That was a euro bond we are paying now, and that money was meant for that. Which means that when Clive Chilwa left, that money also was there. It was went where? Where did the money go? That is my question. I think we have to be serious. That was a loan, which means today we are struggling to say debt restructuring, it's because of that same money that we borrowed. Where is it? It worked where? That is my question.
Me, I would start with Clive telling us when he said the money was being diverted, where, because he was looking at the monies, where the money was going. Why has he not told us who was paid what where? Because he has the records. No, and these are the things that diverted the money away from what he wanted to do. He said he was seeing money being diverted, isn't it? So where was the money going? For instance, if the money was meant to buy the house slippers and they ended up buying maybe workshops or something, who authorized that? And how much was it? I think that could be a very good starting point so that at the time he left, how much money did he leave? And then we hold also the people that came after Clive accountable for the money that remained when Clive Chilwa left.
And why didn't he talk at the time?
Yes.
And why? What type of patriotism is that? I see 150 million for my country being abused, and I'm quiet, and I come and talk 20 years later.
Yes, and then you don't even give details, but that now this is the guy who got this. This was meant for this. This was meant for that. There are no examples was given.
No, I think it did. So if that in support or I'm defending, I'm not defending, but I'm just going through what the program was, how it was aired, and all these questions were asked, really, and he answered it. He was saying when he was there, money was being diverted in certain areas. Okay, by the board. He said by the board. Okay, so Zambia Railways board, all the signatories who have more account, all those big people above, they are the ones who were signing all those things. And then he said he even went as far as going Kuliba Michael Sata to tell him. Okay, but at that point, by Michael Sata was what? Was sick. He was busy dealing with his health issues. And then when he died, everything went to you know, it went to hell. But I'm not defending him. I'm just looking at the coin on a different level, because every side every story has two sides, like you said. The government side.
We are asking questions to the same side. We ask questions which we deserve.
But the question is this: the 120 million. That is not Clive Chilwa's prerogative, because he wasn't a signatory. Okay. We agree. Okay, we agree. Okay, can we agree one thing? He wasn't so meaning he didn't have direct access to that 120 million.
And that's why we are posing the following questions after that statement.
Now
we pose questions now.
But where did that money go? Who the signatories? He said the top board officials.
But we go back to the first question. The first question we're asking Clive Chilwa is, when you saw this money, if it was 120 million and some money was diverted elsewhere, who was the money diverted to?
Okay, that's not up to him to answer. That's not. Let's not dilute the question.
No, we are not diluting the questions. We are saying, number one, he says 120 million went missing. Full stop. Okay, where did the money go? 120 million. Now, this 120 million has questions to itself. How much did the Clive Chilwa leave when he was going away? And then he says the money was diverted. From which project was the money diverted? According to what he saw. Can we have answers?
No. Bakazia. The current project he was working on was to build electric train. He designed everything. He had the blueprint. He designed everything. But to build them now, okay? To build them.
We are starting to run away from the critical questions within that question. Here, 120 million, the money got missing. And Clive said the money was being diverted. That is what was the problem. Now, the $1 million question to him, through you, Bachanda, is by Clive Chilwa, new project in him, where the money was taken and taken to what, and how much in
how would he know that? How would he know that?
He said you're seeing the transactions.
Yeah, no. I gave you an example, Bakazia. This is what I gave you an example. Now got a project. Okay? Bamipela budget. You know, okay, let me just give you an example. What in few years. Bampela marketing budget. Njechanda twakupela marketing budget ya $1,000. Okay? Pray for a campaign. Okay? Create a campaign for us. And then me, quiz on my receipts. Whatever I'm doing, I have to come with my receipts. This, twashita design so, twashita design logo ya so, twashita shani, twashita hire umuntu, twashita hire tuma models, I come up with receipts, no kuwapela this is the budget. And then indarama shiresha asharapo, or if I've gone overboard, this is what's going on. But in this case, he wasn't a signatory kundalama shiria ngashafu mashiria. Ena ngaya kuya kunani kana kukuipusha ya nifundefo kushtanani kana I want to create one or two things. Okay? I want to create one or two things. They would go there and tell him, no, there's no money. And then he started questioning. That time he started questioning. No, I know the money has been diverted. Do you know how government systems work? Mwayako account department, whatever peer, you know, you're traveling. You used to travel a lot, Bakazia, you know how it works. You go there, they say, oh, no, Tamuli Ndarama. Yeah, no man drama shakwisa. Oh no, it has been diverted somewhere else. Okay, so me, I'm not an investigator. I'll be disappointed. I'll be like, no man drama shakwisa. Okay, I cannot go deep down and investigate. Oh, shaire kwisa. That's not my job. Me, I cannot reach at a point. At a point where I said, "Oh, there's no money in the account. I can't do my job."
Tell you, let me probably, for the sake of yourself and others that may listen here, when you are permanent secretary, for instance, you are given, you know the appropriation which comes there. Every time ungakuli ndalama ishingire mu account, you do know vakupere ndalama. There is a record of whatever money is there. Indalama ngavachinja, you can ask. Ngavachinja, they will give you that this is be moved elsewhere. Did the client Chilwa produce even one document which is saying money was moved or taken elsewhere? Because ngavachari request at impereni, what divert. In government, if it is not written, it didn't happen. And these issues of money, ngawasha request the treasury to give money, they will give you a written document which is telling you that they have no financing at that point in time. Takwaba kulanda pakanwa tindalama takwaba government. When you write to say, therefore I so much with this budget lines and everyone else, they will write back to you to say, Ishindalama but is not ready for now. Because if you write, they will write back. If you went up and say, oh, therefore 200 million for this, they will say, in the but in Gawalem, but in therefore, because in Gawaranda you tell them, but I need that on record. So they will write to you back. There are so many gaps in terms of that information flow to pay. Ukuranda Fiat Ondalama was diverted is not sufficient. That is not how money is diverted in public service. Nganinda Lama Shiref Moku Central Treasury, Shari Quata paper trail. Every money that you see land sector to Treasury, Vankulukusa can bear witness on that. There is a paper trail tied to it. Ngatabale Kupela, there's somewhere. If they've moved the money, someone will be held accountable. It's a question of Vachiro telling us, who did he ask? How much did he ask? Why are the requisitions? You see, there's so much, a lot of questions that we can ask him to clarify. But the worst part is that the person who was interviewing him doesn't have the knowledge about how some of these details of the public service systems go in terms of financing. How much money was sitting in the vote that you are controlling? And how much went to you? That is why example. There are so many things that he did not speak about, which in that interview he should have taken advantage to bring out to the fore. But because it affects him, he can't bring those things out.
Yeah, okay. All right. Let's move ahead. I think we need to move ahead because this issue can never end. And the only person that can answer these questions is himself, by Professor Chilwa. If this video finds you, clarify more and give details and answer some of these questions for the public to know and for the Zambian people to know. But I know when it comes to matter of finances, you distance